Episode 16 of the Consistency Podcast is here. My name is Steve from Gloucester with instant reaction to the January 11th Kirk Minahan show, which featured John from Warren and myself. It was another amazing experience to be in studio with Kirk, and I am beyond grateful for the opportunity and the invitation that I received. When the show was over, I resigned myself to the fact that Gussie Bullshit is going to be the co-producer of KMS going forward, because Gus has pulled off a master class on how to do absolutely nothing and stay employed. Think about this. Gus has lied, he has broken promises, and he's done basically nothing on the job, and he is still behind the glass. And that is something that would not happen in 99.99% of all professions. If you lie on the job, if you break promises, and if you do nothing, you will be handed a pink slip. But it's not the case on the Kirk Minahan show, because Gus realizes that Kirk is a barking dog that will never bite. So Gus has perfected the art of maintaining employment, knowing that nothing bad will happen to him. And he is also playing cards better than most people would, because he knows that if he quits, he will not collect unemployment. But if he gets fired, he will. And he knows Kirk has never fired anybody. It's not in his DNA. So he can be a complete bum at his job, and he's going to be able to go to work every day. And that is something that snakes like Gus know how to perfect. And I think he has also mastered the art of being able to take a verbal beating and not quit. And maybe this has happened at past professions, so he's already trained his mind on how to take basically a verbal licking and not walk out. Earlier in this week, Kirk crucified him during that emergency episode. He laid into him something awful. A majority of us would have probably broken down in tears, screamed at him, or walked out. But Gus sat there and took it. Justin and Blind Mike, who really like Gus, there seems to be respect amongst those three, didn't lay in to Gus the way Kirk did, but they both displayed some sort of disappointment towards Gus. They didn't defend him as much as they have in the past, and they both said to Kirk that if they really needed to make a decision, they would fire Gus. That is something that I'm sure hurt Gus on the inside, but he had a great poker face and took that all in, and it didn't seem to faze him. When Mick was in studio on Wednesday, he laid into him. Not as much as he promised, but again, Gus shrugged it off, because he has played this game before in the past, and he knows what he's doing. And on today's show, I've been a critic of Gus since day one. I gave it to him pretty good on a couple of questions. I called Gus out for the pity party that he's putting us all through. And again, the kid was Teflon. He didn't break. It was a master class. I mean, he did great in standing up a little bit for himself. I mean, not like he did with Mick, but the kid didn't crack. So I'm sure on Friday, Mike Montante is going to do the same. But I don't think it's going to affect him in any way because Gus is playing the percentages. He knows how to go through the system and beat the system. And that is something that conniving people know how to do. They know how to beat the system, and that's what Gus is doing right now. And the only person who has the ability to stop this is Kirk, and he doesn't want to do it. It could be a pride thing. It could be because he doesn't have it in his DNA. Or there is some perverse pleasure from a humor perspective that Kirk finds great. He enjoys the fact that people are broken over Gus. He finds Gus to be funny. And while we see Gus as being useless, Kirk must see something in him that he can work with going forward. Now, we all know that Kirk is being conned by this guy. Nothing is going to change. Once the heat dies down, and it had been dying down over the past couple of days, Gus is going to go back into his relaxed atmosphere. He's going to continue to get away with murder. And Kirk has said that he's taking responsibilities away from Gus. Do you think he cares? The fact that he gets less work now has to be jubilation for this kid because he doesn't do anything to begin with. So what's it matter to him if he's not going to do much work for the live shows? He wasn't going to do anything anyway if he had the responsibility. So, again, as upset as people are with the fact that Gus is still employed, there's really nothing that any of us can do because Kirk won't do anything. And as I said to him on the show today, I really hope that nothing major happens going forward that will bring the whole production down. And I really hope Gus doesn't piss off somebody like Cullinane did with Dershowitz. I really hope that Gus isn't put in a position where he loses a bunch of money like Justin did with the $29,000. I really hope Gus doesn't scrub audio like Steve did, because that would be one of those I told you so moments to Kirk. And, knowing that Kirk had the chance to stop that and didn't would be crushing to everybody, because that is what's going to happen. Now, maybe not specifically audio or 29,000 or something going on with a celebrity, but Gus is going to do something that is going to be so awful that it's going to break everybody again. And unfortunately, Kirk is going to have to continue to blame himself like he already has for employing this guy. If he could do it all over again, he admitted he wouldn't hire him. But now he's in that spot and he's winning the employment race over Kirk. And he's going to continue to stay employed. All of us are going to suffer. It's not going to get any better. But we're just going to have to grit our teeth and deal with it. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm going to stop calling him out. If he makes mistakes, he's going to hear about it on the Consistency podcast. But same goes with Coleman. I was told today that I was Mr. Softy with Coleman. That I don't give Coleman the beatdown that I have with Gus. But that's because Coleman hasn't done anything so egregious to this point that he merits that. But yes, Coleman deserves to get criticism, and he will. But hopefully for the benefit of the show and the long term of the show, these guys will turn it around and will put out better product, because myself and others will continue to listen, and I will praise these guys up and down. I want to do that. And with Coleman, I believe it's going to happen, but I just don't buy it with Gus. I never have. I never will. And I think we're all going to continue to have egg on our face, because this kid is showing us the master class on how to get so much power in doing nothing. Credit to Gus, because he's winning right now, and it's sad. But anyway, this concludes episode 16. Again, I want to thank Kirk and the guys for having me in studio today. I appreciate that beyond words. It meant a lot, and it means a lot for everybody who continue to listen to the Consistency Podcast. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you next week.